in Vietnam. I'm really happy to meet one of my friends, and we have known each other for 4 years, right?
Okay, yeah.
The first time we met each other was in 2021 online, I suppose.
That sounds about right. Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, and apparently from David's accent, you can tell that he's from England. How many years have you been living in Vietnam?
23 years now. The lifestyle here is pretty relaxed. People are pretty laid back about life. Of course, the cost of living is affordable, and the climate is wonderful. It's hot and sunny all year round.
You're 56 years old?
That's correct, yep.
So when you first came to Vietnam, you were just 33.
Yeah.
Just like me.
Oh, baby.
But what drove you to here at the first place?
A former colleague of mine, I used to work with this guy in Europe as a teacher, and he travelled out to Southeast Asia, and we kept in contact, and he told me how much he loved it here, and after a while he managed to persuade me to come to Vietnam. I wasn't very keen to begin with, but once I got here, I realised how much I was enjoying life here, so here I am.
But during these 23 years, what do you do for a living?
I've been teaching English. That's my profession.
How does it feel to be an English teacher in Vietnam? Do you like it? Do you enjoy it?
Sure, yeah, it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. Students are good, they're pretty attentive, they're pretty diligent and hardworking.
I'm not sure whether you want to talk about your marriage in Vietnam. You told me before, right?
Might be wise to avoid that topic.
How does it feel, to have a wife from another country? Can we talk about it? If I'm going to marry a foreign lady, for example, from Germany or from the UK, I'm very worried about the difference, between the traditions and culture.
There certainly are cultural differences, but a lot of the interracial marriages here are engaged in for the wrong reasons. The motivation isn't focused on the relationship. A lot of it is financial, the dream of getting to live in a foreign country, or getting dual nationality. There are a lot of benefits.
How does it feel to get older and older? Do you feel comfortable to talk about it?
Age it's mental, isn't it? If you allow yourself to become old, then you'll age a lot faster. But if you be immature, that's the way I deal with it. I'm still like a kid, even though I'm 56 years old. But I still think the same way as I did when I was a 18-year-old or a 20-year-old.
Yeah, I get it. The mentality actually is very important.
I'm still very immature, yeah.
So now you live in the suburbs, right?
That's right, yeah.
How does it feel to live in suburbs, to be far away from the lively city centre?
I'm perfectly happy. I'm not a city person. I was born and raised in a countryside town in England, but I love the peace of living in this sort of rural environment. It is a lot calmer, there's no hustle and bustle, there's not a lot of traffic, occasionally a bit of karaoke, which seems to be the Vietnamese national pastime. That can be a little bit annoying sometimes.
The reason why you moved to such a peaceful suburb is because you raised several dogs, you told me before.
I have 3 new dogs, if that's the right way to phrase that. All my dogs have gone to Doggy Valhalla now, the original ones, but they lived for about 16 years, the oldest. But I rescued 3 pups from an animal shelter, so they were heading for the dog meat market, but I decided to take them on. So I've got 3 pups now. They're less than a year old. I guess they're maybe 8 or 9 months old now. So they're probably destroying my house while I'm sitting here talking to you.
I'm also considering, to move to the suburbs, but I'm just worried about my job. I think you can do a job online. That's the advantage. Yeah, so what are your recreational activities to live in your villa?
A villa?
Yeah, a very beautiful villa.
Yeah. I'm an avid reader. I don't do much else other than read. Spend all day reading the newspapers, and in the evening I like to sit out in my front yard with an ice cold beer and whatever book I happen to be reading at the time.
You don't be into the social medias?
I don't use social media. I think I'm the wrong generation for that.
No, you're still 29, remember.
Okay, forgot.
29 people, you have to use social media to scroll videos.
Yeah, okay. I'll take note of that. I'll start using social media.
But I have to say, watching videos actually makes me very anxious. I don't know why, but very, very anxious. I think that is a different way to receive the information, but without any thinking. So it's very easy for people to be impacted by watching short videos, I suppose.
There's a strong argument that the human attention span is getting shorter and shorter. In fact, I read an article a couple of days ago about schools having to adapt their lessons and their curriculums to accommodate people who can't pay attention for more than 10 minutes or something. I don't know how they're going to manage that, but there's a book on the market called Stolen Attention or something like that, and some psychologist has written an entire book based on the fact that people are losing the ability to focus. Stolen focus, I think that's the name. That's the name of the book. Yeah, you might be aware of it. Yeah.
So, David, do you consider returning to your hometown, to the UK?
No.
No?
No, definitely not.
Why? You don't like it anymore?
The England where I grew up no longer exists. Political scene, the demographic has changed dramatically, and I don't envisage myself returning to the UK at all.
Yeah, way to actually swap to the gift. And David gave me a book.
It's a very old book. It's been sitting on my bookshelf for...
How many years?
I brought it with me from the UK, so I've owned it for over 20 years.
Oh my God.
If you check the date somewhere in the front cover, it'll tell you when the book was published or when it was printed.
Do you have any suggestions for people who are learning English?
Read as much as you can. Read things that you're familiar with. My advice to a lot of students is read travel guides to your own country. That they're very rich in vocabulary and expressions that you'll find very useful. Think about the things around you, where you live, describing your town, your city in English. Things that you don't really think about. Read reviews, book reviews, film reviews, restaurant, food reviews, those kind of things.
This suggestion is very fresh because a lot of native speakers would like to emphasize the importance of speaking, never reading. I think reading is crucial.
Absolutely. Reading, it enriches your vocabulary and also your knowledge base. The more you read, the more you learn.
So really, thank you. Thank you, David, for this interview.
Hello?
Hello,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, okay, thank you.
My name is Zlando.
Zlando, okay.
For you, this name sounds very weird, right?
Well, I don't want to offend you by telling you your name sounds weird, but it's, what would I say? It sounds a little bit unusual to my ears.
It seems like some name from the Harry Potter, right?
Oh, possibly, yeah. It sounds a little bit magical or otherworldly, yeah.
Really? So how should I call you?
My name's David.